It is the last day of January 2025, and that means we get to look at the Heisman early front runners, way too early Heisman votes, and why it's Arch Manning versus the field. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round, 365 days a year. That means like days like today. And today, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, right? If you're new to the channel, you might take a minute, hear what I got to say, and then make a decision. Or like the video and subscribe, and hey, bet on me. Bet on yourself. Answer the question below that I'm posing to you right now in the comments. Who's going to win the 2025 Heisman Trophy? If you're a returning viewer, you know the deal. And if you haven't subscribed, I'm going to ask you to do that too. Ring the bell if you don't want to miss any of the segments we upload here to the show. Now, Heisman odds coming out of Vegas are always kind of interesting. But in this one, I'm looking at ESPN's in-house book, ESPN Bet, and they dropped their Heisman odds earlier this morning. At the top of the list is Arch Manning. It's kind of interesting because we are coming into a moment when if you got Arch Manning stuff, like say a Heisman ticket, you might go get that right now because that number's going to go up, it's going to go down, but it's more or less going to probably stay in the top three up until we play Ohio State, Texas. I say this as I was talking with my homeboy who collects, the collectible college football cards, and he got himself 20 of 25 Arch Manning, Texas. Probably could put it on eBay right now for like $1,700. He was like, should I do that right now? I'm going, actually, you might want to check the market on August 30th, and then you might check the market on September 1. Depending on how you feel about Arch Manning and his capacity to win the Heisman Trophy, you might get up off of that on August 30th, right before Texas travels to Ohio State to play that game. Or you might bet on Texas, bet on Arch Manning, and have a big day against a team that is the favorite to win the national championship, according to these same odds makers. And perhaps see that number inflate. And by the time it gets to December, perhaps you're looking at $5 to $10,000 on that one card that you got. More or less how I think most people talk about betting. I don't bet. Too many people getting in trouble, people going to jail. I saw the thing about Terry Rozier, and I'm like, damn, no way, not no how. Nah, I need you to know that I care about the football and the football first and foremost, but y'all care about the money and the betting and whatnot. So we in here talking about the odds, but the odds also give us a really good indicator of who the superstars are in our sport year to year. I contend that the only superstars you can count on in college football are the head coaches because of the transient nature of college football players, especially in the age of the transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, so forth, so on. I mean, guys be changing up. Like Kyron Hudson was USC. Now that dude all the way over there at Penn State, among other things. Now, when it comes to Arch Manning, though, we're talking about a different breed of cat here. We're talking not just the #1 player in the 2023 class, but his last name is Manning. His uncles won Super Bowls. His father Cooper might be the best athlete of the three, just didn't work out for him. And of course, Archie Manning is his granddad. Dude wanted to go to Texas since he was very young. Got to Texas. Steve Sarkisian done a great job of grooming him. We got to see a little bit more of him last year. And what we saw, we liked. Dude got wheels. Dude can spin it. And he's got some really great weapons at wide receiver in the backfield. Notably, he's going to get back guys like Christian Clark, who's coming back. C.J. Baxter, who's coming back. But also, Jared Gibson is going to be there. And we'll see what Quintravion Wisener can add, along with Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore and so forth, so on. Right now, it feels like Texas is having a moment, right? They're in their Oklahoma state of mind right now. What Oklahoma was doing from 2015 to 2020. Let's call it 2020, where you can consistently count on the Sooners to be in a New Year's Six bowl game and or playing in the college football playoff. We're able to do that with Texas now. That's where they are with Sarkisian having this thing humming right in the right direction. Back-to-back college football playoff appearances. Still ain't won a game in the college football playoff. Makes them a lot like Oklahoma. But behind Arch Manning, you get three quarterbacks. You get Garrett Nussmeier, you get Cade Klubnik at Clemson, and you get Drew Aller at Penn State before you get to Jeremiah Smith, which is my way of telling y'all, if you were to speculate on such a thing, you might just go pick up that Jeremiah Smith right now because, yeah, the odds are against him winning the Heisman Trophy for a number of reasons. A, it's a quarterback award. When it's not a quarterback award, it's a running back award. We've had just two wide receivers win the Heisman Trophy as wide receivers since Desmond Howard, and of course, Devontae Smith. Now, you can classify Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, and you know what? We will, because won the Biletnikoff Award, which is given to the nation's top receiver, and somehow was not even a finalist for the Thorpe Award, but wins Defensive Player of the Year, runs away with the Heisman Trophy. And then take into account how many times have we seen a skill position player at wide receiver or tailback, right, go back to back. Usually goes quarterback, or quarterback, running back, quarterback, something like that. Got to go back to 1997, 1998, the last time we saw back-to-back Heisman winners who did not play quarterback. Charles Woodson famously went both ways, primarily played a lot of defense, was great on special teams, helped Michigan win the national championship. Ricky Williams was Ricky Williams, right, at Texas. You know wouldn't know what time it is. Then you got to deal with ways before you get to another wide receiver of any kind, right? Running backs were here and there, right? Thinking about Mark Ringham, Reggie Bush, so forth, so on. My goodness. We could go on and on about just who should have won these things and who missed out, like Christian McCaffrey somehow not even being in this thing, or Deshaun Watson not being in this thing. But nobody's going to argue with Derrick Henry winning no Heisman Trophy. They're just not. Now we're at a space where people know who Jeremiah Smith is. And not only that, he broke all of Chris Carter's records as a true freshman and was the best wide receiver on the best wide receiver team in all of football, and they just won the national championship. So the only question around Jeremiah Smith is Julian Sayin going to be able to provide the service that Jeremiah Smith needs to be successful? And if not, can Tavian St. Clair or Lincoln Kienholz do that? I think that it's Julian Sayin's job to lose. Dude seems to have what Ryan Day is looking for, what Chip Kelly's looking for. And knowing that you got Jeremiah Smith for not just this year, but the next year, all things considered, is important to note here. I think, once again, betting on Jeremiah Smith here is smart, because the last time, like, the books lost a lot of money apparently on the Travis Hunter Heisman win. A lot of people ended up putting money down on that, and I guess the odds did not go in the favor that they expected. And as far as Jeremiah Smith is concerned, what would he need to do? I mean, just get back to the college football playoff for one, but if he beats Michigan and leads a team to beat Michigan for the first time in 5 years from Ohio State, that's one. Two is winning the Big Ten championship, and by then it might be a wrap, because we might be talking about a guy who's putting up those Jamar Chase kinds of numbers that he was at LSU at Ohio State next year. I'm talking 1,800, 20 TDs, 100 catches. All of that is within bounds for that man. And you know that they want to throw him the football because can't nobody guard number 4 out there. And that dude has been a monster since he entered the sport. From the day he stepped on campus, all Ohio State folks would tell you is, I don't normally do this, but that man over there be different. He was turning men I know who have seen guys like Percy Harvin, who've seen guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., who have seen guys like Garrett Wilson into giddy little schoolgirls. And you could see it now. We got to see it, especially as they got deep into the playoffs and they needed to go back to what they knew they had. Stop hiding that dude and throw him the football. So when they start throwing the football, guess what happens? They start winning football games, and they start winning them going away. They stomp out Tennessee. They stomp out Oregon. They end up beating up Texas and eventually pull away from Notre Dame, and they win the national championship for the first time in a decade. What I'm telling you is the smart money apparently is on Arch Manning, because he wins an SEC championship. It's going to be difficult to beat that dude, but he's got to be healthy, and he's got to make the whole season, and there's got to be no real clunkers in there. Or Jeremiah Smith. I'm telling you, I don't bet on stuff. I don't do it. But if you ask me my opinion, I got Jeremiah Smith right there next to Arch Manning. If you got it, throw it down on both of them. Probably going to win you money.